Oi oi, and welcome to the Dritz Dresden channel. We have a great one for you today. We have just watched Jingle All the Way. And don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. All that good stuff. If you have any suggestions for future videos, I am. Any suggestions for future videos, feel free to leave a comment down there. If you have anything about this movie that we missed or anything you want us to talk about in a different video or whatever, leave a comment down below if you want.
If you want us to watch the sequel starring
Oh God,
Larry the Cable Guy.
I just learned that there was a sequel and it looked bad. I think it said it was 2006 or something like that.
2014.
Oh, I'm way up. 2014, yeah, way later. Anyways, this movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad, and we have a tiny, tiny, tiny Jake Lloyd, and even Chris Parnell makes an appearance. And, oh, right, Mini-Me. Holy crap. We were just talking about it after the movie happened, and we learned that there is a small little elf, and it's played by Mini-Me. He did a very good job.
Vern Troiler is his name.
Vern Troiler, wow. Anyways, so this movie is about a man named Howard, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Howard, Howie, Howitzer. He has like 10 different names.
Oh, okay.
His neighbor says them all.
Oh, all right. And he is a very busy person, and he is running late to his son's karate initiation or graduation for getting the next belt.
The purple belt.
Yes, the notorious purple belt, the one that is one away from green and three away from black. So, beginning of the movie, Jake Lloyd is watching this commercial or TV show for Turbo Man, this doll, and he's a superhero and he fights this bad guy who has like a giant brain. I forget his name, but they're going back and forth. He's like, "Yeah, this is awesome," and it's obvious he's this child, Jake Lloyd, is a huge fan of said toy Turbo Man, which you will hear time and time again. Anyways, cuts to his mom and their neighbor, played by Phil Hartman, watching their two sons. They each have their own son. They're not together, obviously. And they're both getting their purple belt and they're smashing a box, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Howard is running late. His secretary has a thing that said, "Oh, your son's thing is 20 minutes from now. You're gonna be late." And he's like, "I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it." So what does he do? Of course, he drives on the shoulder of the road and he gets pulled over by a cop. Gets the whole 9 yards of a sobriety test. Counting backwards the alphabet, and he misses his son's karate initiation. And of course, he gets home and he explains to the wife, "It wasn't my fault. There was this and that, and I got pulled over. There's too much traffic, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Don't explain it to me. Explain it to your son."
Yeah, that was Danny Woodburn.
Yeah.
The one that Vern Troyer was a different Santa.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought that would look like Danny Woodburn. All right. I actually saw him one time. I was working at well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say where I was working. How dare you guys? Anyways, I saw him and I assisted him, helped him. He was a little frustrated. Anyways, but I solved it because I'm amazing. What were we saying? What were we talking about? You take it. Take it. I don't know where we were at. Where were we at?
Him explaining to his wife.
Oh, right. He was explaining to his wife, "It's not my fault." And she's like, "You need to go to your son and explain to him." And so he's all whiny and moody, and his acting isn't very good here, but it's kind of, it passes.
It's very obviously a 90s movie.
Yes. he doesn't want to talk to his dad. His dad is like, "Oh, look, is this your new belt? I'm gonna put it on my head. Oh, aren't I funny?" And he promises this time. He says to his son, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas?" And Jake Lloyd is like, "Oh, I want. I already asked Santa." And he's like, "Well, sometimes, Santa
Parents need to help
gives
Santa.
yeah, parents need to help Santa." And he's like, "I want the Turbo Man doll with the arms that do this, and it says 5 different phrases, and blah blah blah." And he's like really excited. He's like, "I'm gonna get you this toy." He's like, "Oh, thanks, Dad. That makes up for all this stuff." And blah blah blah. So the lesson here basically is materialism is the basis of love in this world, and so that night the wife is like, "Hey, you got that doll, right?" He's like, What doll?" And he says, "Oh, that's a really old picture.
Yeah,
Holy crap!
15 years.
You were 15 years old. Oh."
No, that's 20.
I was like, "Wow, you look kind of older for 15." Um, what were we talking about? Oh, right. Yeah, you're distracting me with your Facebook. Um, uh, Help me, please. Where are we? Like, I'm distracted. Oh, right. He promises materialism. That's right, materialism. So the whole premise of the movie is Arnold has to find this doll because he forgot to buy it, of course. And the next day is Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve, he's like, "Oh crap! I gotta go to the office and pick this up. Oh, don't forget about the parade. Oh yeah, I'll totally be there. I promise." He makes a promise to his son. So he goes to a toy store and it's like almost 9 in the morning. They're about to open, and he meets Sinbad, a guy named or a guy named Myron. He's a mailman, played by Sinbad.
My
Yeah, that's how he explained his name. He said his last name, but nobody knows what it is.
he combined his first name and his last name in the same name.
Well, we had subtitles on, so we were able to read it, but
Yeah, he was like blah.
that's what he said. And so blah blah blah. No, I'm gonna say call him by Myron because that's so much easier.
Because
Myron.
he only said that the first time. Every other time he called himself Myron. But the first time he
Yeah, because he says his first and last name all in one, and it's very confusing.
and very fast.
Yeah, too fast. They should have redone that one. But maybe they ran out of time. I don't know. Anyways, so they go inside and they meet. They're like, "Where's the Turbo Man?" They're both looking. They're both looking for this Turbo Man doll. They're both on the same team pretty much. They're like, "Hey, you're looking for a Turbo Man doll? I'm looking for the Turbo Man doll. This is gonna be cool." So they go inside and they're like, "Where's the Turbo Man doll? Where's the Turbo Man doll?" And Arnold asked Chris Parnell, um, "Where's the Turbo Man doll?" He's just like, "Turbo Man doll? You mean the most popular toy that's ever made? You're not gonna find it anywhere. It's sold out." And he makes this like funny face. So they're like making fun of Arnold, and Arnold uses a little intimidation, calms it down. He's like, "Where can I find it?" He's like, This old woman had it." So chases after this old woman, and she thinks he's like a crazy guy because he is. Um, and more shenanigans happen, and they he basically visits like every toy store in Minnesota.
Yep.
And this, oh, by the way, this is based in Minnesota, um, and you can tell because of all the Minnesota things like the Mall of America and stuff like that. Yeah,
Mall of America,
children's
Mickey's Diner.
the Children's Museum of Minnesota, which why would they have toys there? Anyways, they just go there for fun. So he's looking for all these places, and he eventually, meets Myron again. He's like, Myron's like, "Hey man, we should team up." He's like, "No, I don't want to team up with you. I'm gonna go my own way." And other stuff happens, and they hear that there's been a small release of toys in this one toy store that's in the Mall of America. So they both race there, and he's just like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get there." So gets in his car, accidentally goes into reverse, and hits that same policeman's motorcycle. So he does that whole sobriety thing again. Finally gets there, and these guys at the store are handing out these bouncy balls with numbers on them, and they just throw up the balls, and it's just pure chaos. and everybody's trying to get a ball. Arnold can't even get a ball. He finally gets one. Byron sprays him with pepper spray, and the ball slips out of his hand. So this ball is bouncing and bouncing, bouncing. And so now he's running. Now it's just an ad for Mall of America. He's running through all of America, runs through Legoland. We see you see Camp Snoopy in the background. Because that's what it used to be called. It's called Nickelodeon Universe now. But back then it was Camp Snoopy, and
Much better.
yeah, and it bounces, and this little girl gets it, and she goes into this jungle gym, and he's chasing her in this jungle gym, of course, like the creep that he is. He sees the girl. He's like, "Oh, I'll trade you this other ball for the ball that you have," and she puts it in her mouth, and one of the moms like hits him with the purse. Oh my God, you're a pervert. Then all the moms hit him with the purse. Oh man, this is so much fun and shenanigans. By the way, this movie is just like nonstop like one thing to the other. There's nothing that stops
No
this movie.
filler.
Yeah, there's no filler. It's all main storyline thing. There's always something that happens, and it's always a thing. But this is where we come into James Belushi and Danny Woodburn, and it's a Santa and elf, and they're like, "Hey, you looking for the doll? We got a doll for you." And he goes with them reluctantly, and he's cautious because he thinks it's a scam, but he's desperate. So of course he goes with them to this compound with a guard dog with reindeer antlers on it, toy reindeer antlers. Everybody, he walks in this compound. It's nothing but Santas and elves, and they're doing this thing.
It's basically a black market Santa
Yeah, black
workshop.
market for toys for adults who are too late in getting their kids' toys, and he buys one of the dolls, and it's $300 for this. He's like, you guys are dickholes. Like, come on, don't do this to me. And he opens the toy, and it falls apart and speaks Spanish to him. He's like, hey, give me my money back. Whoa, 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 whoa! All sales are final. And he's like, you guys are nothing but con men in red suits. Yeah, you heard me. You guys are thieves. You guys are stealing from people. You guys are horrible people. And then all the Santa Clauses jump them, right? And we're having a good time. We see this like little tiny one, and then this like,
The little tiny one is the one that was played by Vern Troyer, I believe.
oh, you're thinking of that
Yep.
guy. Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about him. Um, he's AKA Little Buddy, and he's like the short little Santa, and he's kind of like,
He
uh,
climbs all over him.
yeah, he's like, what's that movie, Mad Max Thunderdome, with Buster. What do they call it?
I've only ever seen Fury Road for Mad Max. I
Okay,
wouldn't know.
I only saw it once, but it's like, oh, what is that called? It's like something in Buster, not Dave and Buster, Booster. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. I'll think of it as time goes on. Um, but yeah, he tries to climb on Arnold
There,
Schwarzenegger, and there's this like big, huge, like 7 foot guy um, that's there.
there's our answer. Sinbad hasn't been in the movies since between 2014 and 2023.
Yeah, he's
Good
retired.
Burger 2 was his last one.
Oh, because I think he was in the first one, so they called
Yep.
him back. Um,
Yeah, it's right here. Yep.
yep. Anyways, uh, oh yeah, so these Santas, he's fighting all these Santas. It's great. This like big, huge behemoth Santa starts fighting him, and he tries to. Arnold is the big muscular guy, and he's like punching all these other Santas. He gets to this Santa. This Santa, oh man, he is a beast. He tries to punch his hand, and this guy grabs Arnold's hand. He can't do anything with it. And meanwhile, that happens. The little Santa jumps on Arnold's head, and he's like beating him with his hands. He's like trying to choke him with his legs. He's like, "Oh, what can I do?" And the big guy is going in for a punch, and so Arnold like ducks a little bit, right? And it punches the little guy off of Arnold, and he just goes flying in the room. This is great. And the big guy goes, "No, little buddy." And at that moment, the FBI comes in.
No, they dogpile on him first.
All right, dogpile. Then the FBI comes in, and like literally everybody dogpiles on Arnold. Poor Arnold.
He
Poor
deserved it.
Arnold. But yeah, he does deserve it. But then the FBI comes in because they're obviously running a shady scam, and everybody's getting arrested left and right. And you have Danny Woodburn, who's like, "No, no, I'm not going back to jail. No, this is stupid." Um, hey, look, it's zombie Bill Murray. That totally looks like Bill Murray. Sorry, ADHD. Which I haven't been diagnosed with, or the ADD. Maybe I have it, maybe I don't. I don't know. Anyways,
If you're a doctor in the comments, please let him know.
uh, yeah. So then you have how long have we been going? Oh, 18 minutes. Let's wrap this up. Um, anyways, he's about to get arrested. He finds a toy like badge, and he pretends to be an undercover cop, and he's able to get out of it. So he's now desperate. He goes to Mickey's diner. He finds Sinbad again, and they have this discussion. And the discussion is, oh, you know, Sinbad's like, I don't like my dad. We're on bad terms because he didn't get me a toy that I wanted, and he saw that his son would turn out just like Myron is, and he's like, I got to get him that toy. And then they hear on the radio, they're like, oh, we're giving out a free Turbo Man if you can name all 8 reindeer, first one to call. And Arnold gets into the payphone, and then Sinbad like rips out the cord so the phone call doesn't go through, and the guy at the diner, he's like, oh, it's just 2 blocks down. So they run in there, and Myron has his. They're looking for the toy, and he doesn't have the toy. They have a certificate, and Myron pulls out a bomb, or he pulls out like a box because he has mail, right? And he's like, "This is a bomb. You better give me that toy." And it goes flying, and it's just a what do they call it?
Music box.
Music box. It's just a music box, and they're like, "Damn it, Myron, you're a menace to society." But they start running out there, and as he was like, Arnold was running in, the radio guy called the cops, so all the cops were there now. And Myron pulls out another package. He's like, "Oh, this is a bomb. This is a real bomb," and blah blah blah. And so they're both able to escape because of this, bomb or whatever. And the same cop is there that was arrested, or not arrested, uh, not tagged, but like ticketed Arnold before, encountered Arnold before, and he's like, hey guys, this isn't a bomb. I was in the bomb squad for 10 years. This is just a regular present." So he goes to open it up, and it explodes, and 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 Sinbad is like, "This is a sick world. That was an actual bomb. Oh my god." So they're running to different places, and this is where you know Arnold goes back to his car. All his tires are gone. He gets towed. Meanwhile, this whole time, Phil Hartman is basically trying to hit on Howard's wife, and it is not going well for him. He's trying. He's like, "Oh, look at these cookies! All these cookies!" So like, there's a scene where he has Liz is her name. She goes up to take a shower, and he's finishing up the cookies because his kid is there playing with Jake, and or Jamie, that's his name, playing with Jamie, Jake Lloyd, and he's like, "Oh, these cookies are so good," and Arnold goes, "Put those cookies down now." He just shouts out loud. It's awesome, and uh, so there's that whole other scene of Phil Hartman trying to hit on every woman, and all these other women are like, "Oh, can I hear you're helpful around the house?" He's like, "Don't worry, baby, I got the tools for the job." It's just Phil Hartman. Anyways, then there's this like reindeer that they get, and the reindeer is like hates Arnold. So Arnold gets home, he sees, what's the name? Phil Hartman put the star on the tree, and that's Arnold's job. And Arnold, he's like, "I'm gonna go and steal your son's Turbo Man doll," and he goes and steals it. And he's like, "Wait a minute, what am I doing?" He's gonna put it back. Before he can do that, he sees this reindeer. The reindeer just charges him. And,
Reindeer named Ted.
Yeah, uh, and he gets a fire starts in the house, and everybody realizes, "Oh, you were trying to steal this doll, weren't you?" He's like, "No, let me explain." And they're like, "Oh, this is horrible. This is so low for you." And he gets all depressed and he punches a reindeer because he's mad, and then everybody's about to go to this huge parade. So they go to the parade, and this is where Howard or Phil Hartman makes his move on Liz. He's like, "Oh man, that whole thing of him stealing, you need a real man around." And he tries to like kiss her and stuff like that, and she just slaps him with eggnog and stuff. And they're all at the uh, parade, and the rumor is Turbo Man's going to be there. So um, Arnold actually runs into the cop again, and he pours coffee on his burnt hands from the bomb, and he's like, "Oh crap! He spills coffee on his hands." Then he's running away from the guy, and he runs into a bus. So he runs into this like random place where a lot of people are trying to get away from this cop.
Warehouse.
Yeah, warehouse. And this guy comes up to him. He's like, "Hey, you're the guy? Oh yeah, you're the guy. Oh yeah." And they're putting something on him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you could fill in for this other guy." And they're like, "Oh, don't worry. The the previous guy isn't that hurt. He has brain activity. He broke a few bones, but he's fine. It's all good. We fixed all the kinks after the last rehearsal." And Arnold's like, "Wait, what is happening?" So basically, he pops up. He's told have a good show, and he sees Booster there. He's like, "Oh, you're that
Play
Booster."
back, Curtis Armstrong.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're that Booster." He's like, "Oh, yeah. And what the hell does that make you, Mary Poppins?" And they go to the top, and it turns out he is dressed as Turbo Man, and he's tasked with giving a child uh, an exclusive doll, and he sees his son in the crowd. He's like, "You, Jamie," and Jamie's excited. He's like, "Oh my God, Turbo Man knows my name." And he gets up on stage, and meanwhile, like, there's like this is all like rehearsed and stuff like that. So the evil guy from the cartoon or the TV show with the weird brain thing, Myron punches that
The
guy.
Dementor.
That's what his name. His name is the Dementor.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how did I not hear that before? That's hilarious. The Dementor, he he puts on the costume. He's like, "Hey, you, give me that doll." And even the announcers that are the announcer in the parade, they're like, "Wait a minute, was this in rehearsal?" And, and they're basically the whole movie is set up for them, the two people trying to fight over this doll, fighting, um, fighting in this scripted scene of Turbo Man versus the Dementor, and everybody thinks it's an act, but in reality, it's them two just actually fighting over this doll. And there's a lot of hilarity that happens, and the mentor is like goes up to Booster. Booster's like, "Hey, this isn't in the script. You should be saying things." He's like, "Oh yeah, well nobody likes Booster," and he just punches Booster. Booster flies off of this parade. What do they call? What do they call those? Parade platform onto the street, and all these kids
Float.
run up.
Parade float.
Oh, there we go. Parade. Thank you. Parade float, and he lands on the ground, and he can't do anything, and all these kids just start kicking Booster because nobody likes Booster. And he basically kidnaps uh, or he chases after Jake Lloyd pretty much. He's like, "Hey, you kid, give me that doll!" And he's like running through all these like band members for Turbo Man, and they have like different props like people in candy canes and boxes. And one of the best lines that Sinbad gives, he's like, "Get out of my box!" And he just punches his box and just falls over and he can't move. It's like a turtle on his back. It can't move. Anyway, so they climb up this uh, this building or whatever, and he's still chasing Jake Lloyd, and he climbs onto this like uh, Christmas tree decoration that's like made of steel on top of this building, and he gets on there, and they're chasing each other, and he kind of falls down. They're both kind of dangling from up there, and Turbo Man is uh, you know there's a scene where Turbo Man is trying to fight off these Dementors like minions or whatever, and Jake is like, "Use your turbo discs."
The Demon Squad.
The Demon Squad. He's like, "Use your turbo discs." He's like, "Oh yeah, turbo discs." He flings actual discs at the bad guy Myron, who's wearing this costume, so his son can get away. And then he realizes, oh yeah, and then the announcer's like, use your turbo suit, Turbo Man, and he has this a literal jackpack on, and he just like flies, nothing but chaos, just flying around everywhere, and he even flies through like a people's dinner, like a family is having just dinner, and they're like, what the heck is happening? Blah blah blah, um, and oh, worst actor, uh, and he's just like in the TV show that happened at the very beginning. Uh, Jake Lloyd is falling and Turbo Man grabs him, and they're like, "Yay! Oh my god!" And it's revealed at the end that Howard was Turbo Man. He's like, "Oh my god, you're Turbo Man!" So he gets the doll back, and he gives Jake Lloyd gives the doll to Myron because he's like, "Yeah, I got the real Turbo Man at home," kind of thing, and that's how the movie ends. And uh, Phil Hartman goes up to a he's like, "What's happening?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, Jamie's dad is Turbo Man." He's like, "Oh, let's get out of here." Blah blah blah. So basically, this Phil Hartman guy, he's just an evil guy. He's just trying to be nice to get what he wants.
He's just getting into trying to get into women's pants.
Yeah, pretty much. And he wants Liz because she is playing hard to get. Um, I think that's why he wants her. Um, and he was like, even reminiscing, like really creepy. He's like, it's like, yeah, I thought about you, months ago. We were at that barbecue. Yeah, and you asked me about that ahi tuna salad recipe. That's when I knew. It's like what the fuck, dude. Um, anyways, uh, that's kind of how it ends. Uh, Turbo Man, he makes up for all his mistakes by being Turbo Man himself, and there's a lot of like quotable scenes, and there's like a lot of actors in there that are bigger nowadays. Well, maybe not Sinbad, but like Chris Parnell was in there. I saw Mo Collins from Mad TV was in there. I think she was just like a side character that didn't say anything. Um, who else? Danny Woodburn and the guy who played Mini Me were both in there.
Vern Troyer.
Yeah, and then I didn't know we had like another Belushi in there. It says on here Jim Belushi, but that wasn't Jim Belushi. It said
Joe.
James. It said James Belushi.
Joe.
Joel?
Uh.
No, I thought it said. I'm pretty sure it said James on the movie that we saw.
Jim.
It says Jim on there, but that's not right because when we were watching the movie, I was like, I didn't know there was another Belushi because there was the Jim. Oh, who's the guy on SNL? Was that John Belushi?
Uh,
Oh, you don't watch SNL? Okay. I think that was John Belushi, and then he had a brother Jim who had his like Life According to Jim show, and then this one it said James Belushi. So it could have been John Belushi, but maybe he changed his name later or something like that. Um, I don't know how many Belushis there are, but this one surprised me that there was another Belushi, and he was really good. He was really good as that sleazy Santa in there, and then you had Danny Woodburn being a sleazy elf. He was really good in that, and just the fight scene with the Santa. There's nothing, but um, it was a train that was chugging along the whole time. There was one scene to the next scene to the next scene to the next scene. There were downtime scenes, but like the one downtime scene was like them in Mickey's diner when they were talking when Sinbad and Arnold were talking to each other about their life and stuff like that. Like it was a meaningful like downtime. Um, otherwise, other downtimes were like uh, Arnold talking on the phone, trying to talk to his wife, and he gets um, Phil Hartman instead. Another time, he gets Jamie trying to talk to his wife, and those were some downtimes, but they were like meaningful things. Otherwise, when he's looking for this doll this whole time, there's stuff that that really fits and really flows, and it's very nice. I think it was like rated really low for the ratings. I think the Rotten Tomatoes was like a 20 something percent, and then the fan was like 40 something percent. Um, but this is a nostalgic movie for me, at least. Um, I
Same thing
grew up.
with me, because, like I was saying earlier, for me, just watching anything that took place in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Because there
To
isn't
see the
that
stuff.
many movies that take place in Minnesota.
Yeah, that and Mallrats, and that's about it.
Wasn't Mighty
Oh,
Ducks
Fargo.
as well?
Fargo. Mighty Ducks. Hey. Even though Fargo is North Dakota, it was taking place in Minnesota, where they're talking to the two prostitutes, and they're like, "Oh, look, we're from Chaska," and they have like these deep like Canadian accents that nobody in Chaska sounds like that. Um, Nobody around the Twin Cities sounds like that. It's not that bad. Um, but they're like, I think they mentioned it was like Bloomington, Chaska, Eden Prairie, for the schools, and I think it was Minnetonka or something in that movie. You've seen Fargo, right?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh,
I
ooh,
probably did, but
okay. You would know if you saw a couple scenes. You'd be like, oh yeah, I saw this because they came out with a series recently. Um, I hear good things. I haven't seen it. I don't really plan on watching it, but they have the John Hamm that's in it, so um, probably worth it just to see what he does with his performance. Um, Other than that, what other Minnesota movies are there? I don't think there's. I think that's pretty much it. Um, Unless there's any other Winter Wonderland movies. Oh, which reminds me, I saw this. This is totally irrelevant. So basically, the review is done. Oh yeah, I give it a 4.5 out of 5 just because of nostalgic reasons.
Purple Rain,
Oh, Purple Rain, Mighty
Mighty
Ducks,
Ducks, Grumpy Old Men,
Grumpy Old Man. Oh, never saw that one.
Good
The Good
Son,
Son. Oh God.
Fargo,
Yep.
Beautiful Girls,
Never heard of it.
Jingle All the Way,
Yep.
Surprise, surprise,
Mallrats is gonna be next. Sweetland,
Sweetland,
North
North
Country.
Country,
Oh, what was that one with?
Prairie Home
There's
Companion.
one with
Mallrats is not on this list.
I think it's called like Leatherheads or something. It was based in Duluth, Minnesota. It was with George Clooney and John Krasinski.
Young Adult, Jennifer's Body, Purple
Purple
Rain.
Gains, Purple Gains.
Just looking for ones we haven't seen yet. Joe Somebody,
Never heard of it.
Drop Dead Gorgeous,
Never heard of it.
Drop Dead Fred,
Never heard of it. Good son. I saw a review of that.
uh,
Grumpy old men. Oh my God. Stuck
Stuck Between
between
Stations,
stations. Never heard of it.
Serious
Serious
Man,
man. Fargo. Yeah.
Simple Plan, Airport, Mallrats.
There it is. There's the Mallrats.
I can't wait for the inevitable Mallrats 2.
Yep.
Because it's been in the works for. It's supposed to be after Clerks 3.
Well, they're still in production. You just need to hold your horses and wait.
Superhero Anatomy, Topless Fortune Telling, Bunny Bashing, and more.
Cool. What was
Eventually,
bunny
we're
bashing?
gonna watch and review all the Kevin Smith movies.
No, that'll be
Eventually.
a ride.
Maybe, maybe when they announce when Star Wars is gonna come out, maybe we'll watch and review all of them.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta mention something. So I know we're going like way over the time or whatever, but I saw this thing called Baby Reindeer on Netflix, and I couldn't stop watching it all day yesterday. I watched all of it. I couldn't stop watching it. It's about a guy who gets stalked by a woman like twice his age, and she goes kind of crazy on him, and he's like he works in a bar and he bought her like a free drink because she was broke, um, and she took that as, oh, you must like me, now we're in love, kind of a thing. And it's just like, wait, what? um, but it's based on an actual true story of this guy. He was a comedian. He's a comedian, and all this stuff happened to him, and it's just a wild freaking ride. And this woman is nuts. Like holy crap, she is insane, and she's basically a professional stalker, and she knows the law because she has a law degree. And she's like, "Oh, I'm a lawyer, but I'm broke." It's like, all right, yeah, right. You're not a lawyer. I won't say anything more than that, but definitely recommend watching Baby Reindeer. You too, Derp Derp. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but after watching the first episode, it's very intriguing. Even after the first like 10 minutes, you're like, "Oh my god, I want to watch this." Um, but yeah, a real life thing, a literal true story.
And one last bit of news I just had as we're wrapping up. Terrifier 3 is coming back to the theaters Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
I should take my brother.
Uh, you want to? The three of us?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I could.
Coon Rapids is the closest theater that has time so far
Okay.
on Christmas Eve.
I will on Christmas Eve. Can't do
Yep.
Christmas Eve.
I'll work Christmas Day all day.
Ooh, well, I guess we can't do it. My bad.
Even at like 9 o'clock?
PM?
Yep.
No, can't. That's when my family celebrates Christmas. So we have dinner, then do this dice game, and then we open gifts, and then we just chill the rest of the night. So that's like the one day of the year I can't do it. So oh well, it's okay.
Oh, we can just have your brother come here and watch it.
Yeah, right. We're gonna show you a Christmas movie. Hey, parents, get your family, gather around. This is the greatest Christmas movie ever.
It's supposed to have extra content. That's
You mean like the opening scene, like NC-17 rating?
It just says bonus content.
It's gonna be like a minute long. I hate when they say bonus content. It's like watching The Walking Dead, and they're like, oh, the bonus content episode, and they give you like 30 seconds of something that's meaningless, and you're like, why did I watch that again?
Well, that's for some reason I only get scheduled like from like 8 to 8 on Christmas Day instead of 11 to 11 like I've been told I will be, or it's 10 p.m.
10 to 10.
Or no, this is the show times.
Oh, god. Yeah, it's okay. It's not a big deal. You're working, and that just happens to be the day my family celebrates it. So it's a Tuesday, huh?
Yep.
Well then, are we still recording?
Yep.
Oh. Sorry, Mr. Editor. How long have we been going for? 40 minutes? Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, we'll just end it here. Yeah, sayonara. I'm Ski Nerd. Over there's Derp Derp.
Join us in about 40 minutes for Pokemon or anime D&D.
It's D&D.